Now we come to number 6 in our studies in Joshua, the enemy within, and this is based on Joshua chapter 7 and is the sin of Achan, and we would want to include his family in this because they were also complicit, which is the reason why they all paid the price in the end. A very tragic story and a good example of what we were talking about last time, that you can't expect the Lord to bless you if you are not following what he says. Achan clearly disobeyed. He took these riches from the fall of Jericho for himself. He wanted it, he saw it, he desired it. And the really interesting thing, the whole story, he never says, and I'm sorry. He never says this was wrong in the sense that I apologize, I repent, and I wish to be forgiven. We don't see any of that. He does admit what he did, but he doesn't say that this was something that he really shouldn't have done and he's apologetic for. Interesting, isn't it? And I think as we consider that, then we learn a little bit more about what it really is that he did. He was deliberately confronting what God had said, and he paid the consequence because he had taken these things clearly in disobedience God's command, and which was what led to the defeat the first time when the Israelites went up against Ai. And it's interesting too, in that whole story, we don't hear anything about Joshua or anyone else consulting the Lord about going up to attack Ai. They just send out some spies in reconnaissance, and they come back and say, you don't need to send the whole army, we can take these, there's just a few people there. And of course they get defeated there because God says, I can't help you because of this sin of Achan, and that has to be exposed and has to be dealt with in order for God to continue to bless his people, because he needs to know that they are doing the right thing. They need to know that God means what he says, and I think that's often the case. We all think we can kind of skate by and just do the minimum or something like that. Is that really what God is saying? I don't think so. He's saying, I want a clear, close commitment. I'm committed to you. I would want you to be committed to me. And so this is why the enemy within is such a dangerous thing. They weren't defeated by external forces, by their enemies, but by one of their own, and they had to take care of it. As Winston Churchill said in the notes there, I put some quotes, when there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. The problem is when there's an enemy within. And similarly, some of those other statements, and you can read through those and see how they apply. And I really do think that we need to have a bit of an inward look and say, okay, Lord, please help me to understand where I am going wrong, where I am not being fully committed to you, when I am not really following what I know you will want in my life. Because just like Achan in his deliberate sin, if we continue in deliberate sin, well, how is God going to work with you? How is he going to help you? And I'm talking to all of us, myself included, when we think about these things. It's really significant, isn't it, to look at Achan and to say, yeah, I recognize what he's done, and unlike Achan, I'm going to repent. I'm going to ask the Lord for forgiveness. I'm asking him to help me deal with whatever sin that is troubling me. And I'm going to ask him to heal me from all of this and to lead me on to a better experience so that I'm not destroyed by myself, by the enemy within. So we have a lot to think about, and a bit of self-reflection, I would suggest, as we consider Joshua 7 and its tragic, tragic results for not only Achan, but his whole family, who are all involved, it seems, in what he was doing. And let us not pay the same kind of price of suffering in that kind of way and not experiencing the forgiveness that the Lord can give to us. And more than forgiveness, change, so that we are not the kind of people that do those kinds of things. We're the kind of people that follow the good Lord in what he says, which is always for our benefit and for our blessing.